Hey, this is Peggy with Easy Peasy Machine Embroidery, and today I am in Creativate Embroidery Software, and I'd like to talk a little bit about Configure and what that's all about. First of all, there are a couple of different ways to get into the Configure, and first is one if you go into your program data, Microsoft Windows, into your programs, Creativate, it's there in the tool folder, and wherever you keep that folder, that's where it's going to be. But I like to go about it a different way. So I bring up the Creativate program, and over on the left hand side you'll see Configure. And you don't have to you don't have to sign in, but here it is. And this is how you would deactivate your program also. Go to the Utilities tab, which is right here, the second tab in from the left, and always look for tabs at the top of things because they're there for a reason. In the utility folder is your thread cache. Thread cache is how you add the embroidery threads that you have into your system so that when you're creating a design, you can go to your own thread cache and choose colors that you already have. I'll make a separate video on thread cache. You can also find Quick Font here. Quick Font is where you can take fonts that are already on your computer because they've been installed by other programs, or you can go to different places online and get free fonts to use, which are stored in your Windows Fonts folder. That's where to find the Quick Font. You can also find that in other places. Here is where you're going to check for updates of your software. Here is where you're going to back up your settings. And oh my goodness, if you create your own motifs or your own fonts or things like that, even your thread cache, you need to back up your settings once in a while. And basically that's just clicking on that, and it's going to put it in a folder in a file called My Settings in a zip format. And remember wherever you're putting it, remember where you put it. I like to put it out onto my desktop so I know where it is right after I've done it, and then I can put it wherever I want. Reset all modules is when you want to start fresh with all the software. So if you've already added specific fills or fonts or things like that, it'll automatically start out with that. And to reset all modules turns everything back to when you first installed the program. Restore my settings. Here's where you go out and get that file that you created in the backup My Settings. And reset file association, that is basically what files you're going to be able to see when you open up different parts of the programs. Appearance. I know sometimes I'm working with freestanding lace snowflakes, and those are white, and I have to do a background, change the background around so that I can see what the snowflake actually looks like. You can change the color of your grid lines, your screen layout. I don't mess with this too awful much, and I leave it in millimeters. So 1 inch is equal to 26 millimeters. Your cutout background, here again, once you've cut out something in for applique, or you've done some, I want to say cut out as in making tablecloths or something, where you're making a hole in the tablecloth. That's what you're using there. I use it all the time for my appliques. Import. These are the thread ranges that I normally use. And that would be basically from your thread cache. And when I am creating designs or whatever, it's automatically going to use Robeson Anton thread. And export. And I uncheck all of these so that I can, with the exception, actually, yeah, I uncheck everything so that I can check them as needed as I am saving designs. For instance, there's some designs that I do with applique that I would not want color sorted, or that I would not want combined. Okay? And create center placement stitches for decorations, your line placement stitches, all that is in there. And I like to actually put my name on here so I know which files that I have made by myself. And that's basically what's in configure. You also have options here. You can't be afraid to click on things. Another thing I'm going to talk about here for 1 second is in preferences. People always wonder how to remove that overlap when they've added lettering or something, created their own designs and put something over a fill, and they don't want that fill underneath the lettering. This needs to be checked. That's how to remove the overlap. Okay, so that's basically what configure is all about.